Hello everyone, and welcome back to Talk with Bawan. Today, we are diving into one of the most discussed and debated topics in the modern world, the LGBTQ+ community. This is a subject that touches on biology, history, religion, and how our society functions. Whether you see this as a movement of rights or a shift in culture, it's important to understand the full picture. Today, I'm not here to take a side. I am here to present the facts, the history, and the different viewpoints, from science to religion, so that we can look at this complex issue clearly. Let's get started.
Let's start with the basics. Biologically and historically, human civilization has primarily operated on a binary system, male and female. This distinction is essential for reproduction and the continuation of the species. However, the concept of gender identities outside of this binary isn't strictly new. While the modern terms we use today are recent, history shows us examples of gender nonconformity going back thousands of years. In ancient Mesopotamia, there were the Gala priests. In South Asia, we have the Hijra community, often recognized as a third gender. Native American cultures recognized two-spirit individuals. So, while the biology of reproduction is binary, the human expression of gender has appeared in various forms throughout history.
A common question is this natural? From a strictly biological standpoint, reproduction requires a male and a female. This is the fundamental law of nature for the survival of mammals. However, scientists also point out that homosexual behavior has been documented in over 450 distinct animal species. But there is a debate here. Critics argue that animal behavior shouldn't necessarily dictate human moral standards, while proponents argue that this proves it occurs naturally in the wild and isn't just a human invention.
Now, let's look at how the world's major religions view this. This is often where the biggest conflicts arise. Buddhism focuses on the mind and detachment from craving. The texts don't explicitly condemn homosexuality in the same way Western religions might, but sexual misconduct is generally discouraged for lay people, regardless of gender. The focus is more on whether an action causes harm or attachment. Christianity has varied views. Traditional interpretations of the Bible consider marriage as exclusively between a man and a woman, viewing homosexuality as contrary to God's design. However, many modern denominations preach inclusivity, arguing that the core message of Jesus is love and acceptance. Hinduism is vast and complex. Ancient texts contain references to third genders and deities who change gender. While modern Indian society can be conservative, the religion itself has a history of acknowledging fluidity. In Islam, the Quran is explicit. Sexual acts between the same gender are forbidden, citing the story of Lot. Mainstream Islamic rulings maintain that marriage is strictly between a man and a woman, though there is emphasis on treating all individuals with basic human dignity, even if their actions are considered sinful.
We must distinguish between trends and clinical reality. There are individuals who suffer from gender dysphoria. This is a recognized psychological condition where a person feels a deep, painful disconnect between their biological sex and their gender identity. For these individuals, this isn't a trend or a fashion statement. It is a genuine struggle. The medical community generally supports transition or therapy to alleviate this distress. It's important not to dismiss the real suffering of these individuals. This brings us to the modern cultural landscape. How does society view this? On one hand, we have the fight for equal rights, the right to work, live, and not be harassed. This is a matter of basic human rights. On the other hand, there is a growing concern about trends and forcing. Some argue that LGBTQ+ identity has become a social trend, especially among teenagers seeking belonging or attention. There is criticism that corporations and media are force-feeding these narratives, sometimes prioritizing ideology over merit. There is also the controversy regarding children. Many parents are concerned about LGBTQ+ topics being introduced in schools at very young ages. They argue that children are impressionable and that topics regarding sexuality should be left to parents, not the education system. They fear this brainwashes children into questioning their biology before they even understand it.
We also have to talk about those who take wrong advantage of this movement. The trendsetters, people who adopt these labels purely for social clout or to feel special, which ironically hurts those with genuine gender dysphoria. The aggressors, activists who aggressively attack anyone with traditional values, labeling them as hateful simply for having a different religious or biological belief. This aggression pushes people away and creates more division rather than understanding.
So how do we solve this? How do we find balance? Respect is a two-way street. Society must respect the human rights of LGBTQ+ individuals. Violence or discrimination is never the answer.
Protecting children. We need to have a serious conversation about what is age-appropriate for children. Education shouldn't be confused with ideological influence. Freedom of belief. Just as people have the right to identify how they wish, religious people have the right to stick to their traditional values without being persecuted.
The final idea: we don't all have to agree on the lifestyle, the theology, or the biology, but we do have to agree on coexistence. We can disagree without hating. We can hold different values without attacking one another.
This is a complex issue, and the answer lies not in shouting louder, but in listening better.
What do you think? Is modern society handling this balance correctly, or have we tipped too far in one direction?
Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. I want to hear all perspectives.
I'm Bawan, and this was Talk with Bawan. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that bell icon. See you in the next one.